Hey, welcome everybody to season 2 of Drop the Dirt. I'm your host, Dirty. We are in episode 11 with Mike Hoke from the Digglers Softball Club in Chicago. Mike, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We've had a chance to talk a little bit before and a few times in the last, about year, just about now, right?
Yeah, something like
And,
that.
yeah, and tell me, first I'd like to tell me about yourself personally, then we're going to get into the softball stuff and all that good stuff.
I am a freelance video editor, and I run a slow pitch, a beer league slow pitch softball team. We got a GoPro for Christmas a couple of years ago. Started posting some stuff on Instagram Reels, and a couple of them blew up, and now we got a decent following going. We're not great, we're nothing special, but we're just a bunch of friends having fun, kicking back on a Thursday night, drinking beer, and playing a real fun game, slow pitch softball. So
Well, I think I think that's what makes softball special alone, right? And then also that's what makes you guys special is that you guys caught my attention just from the positivity and the camaraderie and that softball community that I love so much. And it was really cool to see these look like a good group of guys just having fun playing some league night softball, and that's basically how softball started. So it's really cool.
yeah, it's all fun. We're having fun.
So I remember I was going back through some of the messages and when I reached out to you, you know, I don't know, how much information you had on me, but I just kind of like just literally just slid into your DMs and asked if I
Yeah,
could play league night with you. You're like, man, we got a lot of childhood friends and things like that. So I don't know about, taking spot with that. And I was chuckling at myself because I said, here I am. I played for a very, very long time, probably longer than some of you guys have been alive. And I want to be a part of what you guys are about, So, I think that I'm honored to be able to be there, this Thursday, I'm coming out there for that league night.
yeah.
And, it's going to be really cool to be a part of the Diggler Softball Club.
Yeah, we're really excited. Yeah, we're excited to have a good guy, and you're coming for a pretty big game too. It's
Yeah, tell
pretty
me
big
about
one.
the
So.
game here. I know it's a little bit of a rivalry, so give us the information on that.
Yeah, so we started playing in this league in 2020, and it was like the third game we played. It was a young group of guys like us, friends from, I think mostly friends from high school, and they're loud, just like us, kind of. We don't like to. We're not purposely trying to piss other teams off, but when my friend that I've known for 15 years gets a triple, I've never seen him get a triple before. Like we're all gonna get loud, and so it must be pretty annoying to play against because they're pretty annoying to play against. And they're from a suburb called Naperville, which I don't know how many of your people are familiar with Chicago, but Naperville is like the one suburb that everyone kind of makes fun of. So that was kind of easy pickings there. We're also from a suburb, but Oak Park, we like to think of ourselves as more cultured. But yeah, we've had some really good games against them in the past. And about 2 years ago, they left the league because they went like 10-0 and thought they were too good for the league or whatever. And yeah, they've been gone for 2 years, and now this season they're back. And that just so happens to be the one game that you're flying out here to play. So it's going to be a good one.
I'm really excited because we're going to give them a nice welcome back. There's nothing more than I like than some banter back and forth on the field. And I love when guys can be able to, in the field, take it. And even if it's, toes the line of respect and a little disrespect, like after the game, I'm hoping for, hey man, that's it. That's where it ends for me,
Yeah.
So I've been known to say some things that may really, really catch some people off guard or maybe strike a nerve a little bit. That's the point of it, right?
Right.
But I also like the cheering for your own team. And if you're loud and cheering for your own team, great. So I don't really ever say anything unless something is said.
Yeah.
I can stay within myself or within my team. But the minute somebody may say something about a teammate or somebody's play on the other side, Well, now you've opened those can of worms, and you got to take everything that comes with that. So.
Right. Yeah. It's if you chirp one guy, you're chirping all of us. So
Correct.
it's yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So that's cool. So how did you guys get the name Diggler softball?
So we started the team when we were seniors in high school in 2014 at Oak Park River Forest High School, and it was second semester senior year. None of us were on the baseball team, so none of us had any sports going on. And Zach, who we now call the Godfather, suggested that we join a slow pitch softball league, which was half a block from our school. And we were really into the movie Boogie Nights at the time with Mark Wahlberg. I don't know if you've seen it, where he plays a porn star, and his name in the movie is Dirk Diggler. I don't know. Zach suggested, "What about the Digglers?" And we're like, "Yeah, I love that." And yeah, we did the league. I think we went 0-7. Older guys with experience beats out athleticism almost any day of the week. So we struggled, but we had a lot of. I mean, we didn't win a game, but it was very memorable. It was a lot of fun, and 10 years later, we're still same names, trying to do the same logo, same colors, and still got that energy.
That's awesome. 10 years. 10 years in the league. In 2014, just that I'm going to age myself. In 2014, I was headed to my 20-year high school reunion. So as you guys are graduating high school, I was heading to my 20-year high school reunion. So, that's.
Well, and you're still probably better than all of us. I mean, I haven't seen you play yet, but I'm
I make sure that I stretch out really, really well before I take that field, so I can be impressive, hopefully. So, yeah, it's pretty awesome. So, how many leagues have you guys won in that 10-year span?
So there were a couple asterisk wins that I don't want to delve too deep into, but there were championship games. Twice this happened. There were some light problems. And one game they called the game early because the lights never came on, and we were down 1 run, but we were the home team and we hadn't batted yet, and so they called the game before we got to bat, and so they gave the championship fleeces, which are behind me, to another team, and we emailed them. We're like, hey, we slow pitch softball. We were down 1 run. They batted more times than us. Yeah, and similar situation for another one.
Championship.
Twice that happened. So 2 official ones, which we won our first one in 2022, and then we won our second one 3 weeks ago. Where it's 2 championships in 10 years. But
now let me say, you guys were down at one point in this last one, right? You guys were down.
We were. Yep.
Yeah, and then their shortstop. I was watching it live. I mean, here I am at night. I was watching it live, and their shortstop. I mean, I thought, I think I said something. I said maybe he's left-handed, and I'm like, I was kind of giving it to him a little bit. I'm like, man, he is literally. It's like, is he playing for you guys? Like, is he on your guys' side? I mean, he helped you guys continue a rally because he was either out of position or he made the wrong jump. I saw it a couple times. He made a wrong jump. So that happens from time to time. But yeah, it was really cool to see and watch you guys win that. So that's cool.
I'll off the chin maybe, and stay in front.
You notice that there are hops, and I see how some people field it, that they're trying to not let it. They almost kind of trap it. I can see that sometimes, right?
So. And the big problem is it hops sometimes, and then sometimes it doesn't hop. It'll take a hop and then it'll die, or won't take a hop and then it's hard to. It's really hard to read.
Right. It's going to be very interesting. That's for sure. So that'll be fun. So
I got the second story about the shortstop is it was later in the game, and one of our guys that's always talking smack, he beat out a fielder's choice at second base, and he said after the game, he's like, yeah, I probably should have went to the dugout and screamed, "Let's go!" But he instead screamed it right in front of the shortstop's face. And I guess at some point, I didn't see this until I watched the footage later, but I guess at some point the shortstop dropped his glove and walked over to him, and Steven, our shit talker, in an instinct, I don't know if you know what this is. I don't know if you had this when you were a kid, but there's something called a bean dip where you go like that to someone. It's just a like, middle school thing that you would do to someone and you say bean dip. He gave him a bean dip and the guy just walked away and put on his glove immediately, which was very
Really?
bizarre, but it was the most de-escalating bean dip I've ever seen in my life.
I'm gonna have to figure out what this bean dip is. That might be the best, when you can get under somebody's skin so much that they want to fight you. Now, some guys have zero self control, and you could breathe the wrong way and they want to fight, right? And then there's some that can take so much of it and then can't. But man, to de-escalate it, that's pretty good too. So yeah, that's awesome. What do you guys
The
do?
shortstop's a good guy, by the way.
Yeah.
They hugged out after the game. It was all good. We love the Misfits. They're good. So it's all fun. It's all fun.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like, once you leave the field, it's fine. But in that spirit of that competition, it's a battle, right? And I've seen the videos and stuff. It's hard nosed and it's tough, but you can hear the way people are saying it, that it's just the stuff that's in between the lines, which is great. So
Yep.
Sure, he's a great guy, but having said that, if I happen to see him, on Thursday and I do something wrong, I hope he gives it to me. Don't feel bad just because I don't know if I should say that. Man, let me have it. I'm going to try to be. I don't want to make a mistake there, because then I'm open to that too, right? So
right, yeah.
That again, that's what makes the softball community. That's what makes league night, and whether you're playing at the highest level or the beginner level of softball, or playing at a family picnic, that's what makes it fun.
Right.
So yeah, definitely. What do you guys normally do after the games? I'm sure it's changed over the course of 10 years, but you got any great stories about that you can talk about, or you guys, what do you guys do?
If it's a nice night, we'll sit and watch. If there's games after us, we'll sit and watch those games. What we know most of these teams in the league, but no one. There's not. I think there's 8 teams in the league this season, which is actually more than in years past. But it's the same teams for the most part, so it's fun to watch that. Or if it's cold out, then we'll go to a bar. We go to Murphy's, which is right next to Wrigley Field. I don't know if you've ever been to Wrigley, but
I have been there once. I went with I actually drug Buddy Wolf, who now plays for Rismondo, Team Rismondo.
Okay.
But years ago in 2016, him and we played in Chicago. We had a long time until our flight. We were flying out in the evening time, and we were actually going both to Florida. He was going home there for vacation, and I was going home. So I took him to the resort where his family was going to be at, and I I offered to take him there. So we were on the same flight from Chicago to Florida that night, and I'm like, hey man, do you want to go to the Wrigley game or go hang out downtown? He's like, no. He's a big, 6'4" and 280 pounds of just pure muscle. He's a big fella, right? But he's like, no, I don't know that I want to do that. And I said, what? I'm like, we're going. I drug him. We took the subway down there. I had a great time. I don't remember anything that we went to, as far as names of things, but man, I just remember it was an awesome atmosphere, So
yeah.
Yeah, so
I got one quick story about Wrigley Field if you got time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm a White Sox fan. Don't like the Cubs.
Okay.
But we were there. A lot of friends from the Digglers. We were there when we were again seniors in high school, and I was drunk. We were in the bleachers, which the bleachers at Wrigley is kind of like anarchy a little bit. And they were playing the Phillies, and there was a Phillies fan about 10 rows up that was just and the Phillies were killing the Cubs, and he was just really giving it to everyone, and egging everyone on or whatever. People were throwing popcorn at him, and I'm not even a Cubs fan. I was kind of rooting for the Phillies, but it had a few drinks, and I threw a condiment onion, from a bratwurst, and it was about 10 rows up, and it's the greatest throw I ever had. I Tom Brady'd it, threw it, and it stuck to his face. And I follow through, God, it's a perfect. And he turns around and I'm still doing the follow through 10 rows up. And he looks at me and just points, goes like that. And I sit down in my chair and I'm like, oh, shit. He walks up, and I get about halfway up in my chair. I get about here. He goes, stand up, and I get about halfway up in my chair, and he just hits me with a boom, punches me. This part I don't remember. Apparently, I just kind of sunk in my seat and go. Ugh. And I got three other Digglers with me. One of them trains jujitsu, lifts every day, like big guy. He's laughing. My other friend, who I expect to laugh, is laughing. And then Ben Calves, who's the sweetest, nicest guy in the world, is the guy that jumps on him and starts wailing on him. Some guy from like 3 sections over sees the whole thing and sprints in, jumps on the guy, and everyone's jumping on him. He gets kicked out. I don't. I'm 18 years old. And then everyone's giving me free beer. Like, he took one for the Cubbies. And everyone's giving me free beer, free nachos, free popcorn and stuff. So that was a nice little Chicago camaraderie thing, even though I'm not even a Cubs fan. But
that's so awesome.
That's my Wrigley story.
So awesome. It takes you back to the day where there was a time where, you got into a fight with somebody and after you were done, you picked the guy up and you took him to the bar and had a beer. We're so far away from that as a country, which really stinks, right? Where you could literally have a disagreement with somebody and then talk about it like a free mind, right? Have that ability to be able to say, hey, I don't agree with you, but hey, let's go have a beer. You know what I mean? Like now we don't agree with you because whatever the case, there's hate. There doesn't need to be that, so,
right.
And so, yeah, so that's awesome, man. We got our work cut out for us this Thursday, right? So,
yeah.
What are your expectations of you guys in the next 5 years? Like, where are you guys transitioning to? Because you guys started as kids, playing out of high school, just starting, and now I'm sure some of you guys are transitioning, and families and things like that. Like, where do the Digglers go in the next 5 years?
Yeah, that's a good question. I couldn't tell you. I've thought about it a little bit. Most of us are 28. No one on the team is married. And so no one has kids. So, in the next 5 years, someone might get married and might have kids, move to the suburbs. Yeah. So, I expect, we're not going to have everyone in 5 years. I hope we do. But, it's really great. It's really great because, it's a special relationship that we all have. So I think that, even in 20 years, I'd like to think on Thursdays we'll still be, meeting up, even if that life is life, but I think that hopefully most of us will still be here in 10 years. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know.
That'd be awesome. I mean, just to take it back a little bit, there's a team there's a lot of teams around the country, and there's a lot of teams that I've been able to be a part of, which is awesome. But there's one. It was a league night team, and I see some of the guys now, and their team name was the Thundercocks.
Thundercocks.
Awesome team. Great, amazing, great group of men. Like it was really an honor. I didn't play for them full time, but I played for them, here and there. And but that group of men, you can see now when they were the same as you guys, young, single. I think they had girlfriends here and there, and things like that. And then they turned into fiancés and wives and families, and it's so cool to see now. Like I see them on Facebook and stuff, and like, man, it's really cool. That's why I wanted to ask that question. Where do you guys see yourself in the next 5 years? So
yeah, right.
Yeah,
so it'll be a test. So
it'll be a test to see who the first one's going to be. Right. First one takes that plunge.
Yeah.
It's a great plunge. It really is. It's really cool. Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to Thursday night and seeing what it's all about. Last thing I was going to ask you, the conditions. You guys have all the seasons, and it gets really, really cold. I see that rainouts and the weather. What are the seasons like? What are the highs and the lows?
So the spring seasons, which I told you, you were trying to come out last fall, I think, and it rains a lot here in the falls and the spring. So I'm like, I don't know, fall, because I think you were going to come out, right?
Right.
And we had I think it was, I don't know, 2 months of rainouts straight,
Yeah.
Something ridiculous like that. Yeah.
I had some free time, and I'm like, I'll head over there, and then I'll spend a day in Chicago, and then come back home, and yeah, man, it'll be awesome. But yeah, so the spring season is a lot of rain, right?
Spring, yeah. I told you, I'm like, yeah, don't even try in the spring because it's so unpredictable, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and then summer's usually pretty good, but it can get pretty cold, especially if you have rainouts throughout the year. You know, we're playing into mid-November. I think a couple of years before we were in the league, I think someone was saying that they're playing in December with snow on the ground. You know, it's like trying to feel the ground ball through snow is not
That's
ideal.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That makes it a little bit tougher. And then I've seen a couple times like people just like run or walk right through the outfield like players.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'll get the full Chicago experience on Thursday. A couple years ago, a tent city popped up over there in right field across the street. You're a lefty, so maybe I mean I'm going to tell you to try to hit a ball into tent city. That's always fun. Souvenir for a lucky homeless guy.
Souvenir. What now? You said there. I'll bring a couple extra balls because I plan to hit a couple foul balls. So is it a 1-1 count with none to waste or a 1-1 count with one to waste?
None to waste. 1-1
Okay,
count. You hit a foul ball with 2 strikes, you're out. Yeah. And there's a
still there.
height limit is I think it's supposed to be 6 to 15 feet, but it depends on the ump. We usually have the same ump, and he's inconsistent with the high calls. So sometimes this
Okay,
league can be unlimited arc. You know,
okay.
it kind of depends on the day, but yeah. So the pitches get pretty high. It's the plate is both mat. It's the plate
Play and the
and the
mat.
mat. Yeah, and when you're sliding into home, you can do either plate or mat.
Right. I'm like, man, these guys slide. I was like, I don't remember the last time that. I mean, I remember I slide. It's just I'm trying not to slide. So yeah.
We got one guy that Steven wears Lululemon shorts that are basically boxers, and he slides more than anyone I see on the like. He's after the games, he's just got raspberries all over.
Oh my
He's all
god,
cut up, you know, but he lives for it. He loves it. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. So well, um, we'll circle back on this after we're done and have this great experience coming up on Thursday, and after I get to know the guys a little bit more too, and then we'll have a part two to this when I
yeah,
get back from the trip. So that'll be awesome. Mike, it's been a pleasure, man, and I look forward to seeing you Thursday. We're gonna sign off here, Mike. Once we sign off, I'm gonna hit stop, and it goes to upload complete, and that's when we can get off. So,
cool.
all right, cool. So signing off here. Thank you guys for being a part of the Dirt Crew. Mike from Digglers Softball Club in Chicago. League night this Thursday. Are we going live? I think we're going live, right?
Yeah, we'll try to go live. Hopefully,
Yeah.
if you play music, the Instagram will end the video because of
Okay.
copyright. So I'll make sure to tell everyone no music.
All
So
right. No music this Thursday. So maybe really low. We'll do that.
yeah,
All right. So we're gonna sign off here, and we'll see you guys on the next show.
cool. Thanks, guys.